Budget flagships are dead, thanks to Sam Altman and AI's endless appetite for RAM. These your so-called budget flagship killers have quietly crept into premium flagship pricing. But if you need a phone, you just need a phone. So does going for a previous gen flagship make sense? Well, Flipkart is back with its Republic Day Sale. And one deal that caught our eye was the Samsung Galaxy S24. But not the regular S24 that launched with the Exynos 2400. We are talking about Galaxy S24 with Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 that launched last year in September for 75,000 rupees. But in this sale, Flipkart is offering the S24 for 50,000 rupees. In fact, even less than that if you play your cards right. So the big question, does buying a 2-year-old flagship still make sense in 2026? Well, short answer, yes, absolutely yes. And let me explain why. But before we do that, hit like and smash that subscribe button. We start with the design, because even after 2 years you get a solid design and solid durability that you simply don't see in mid-rangers in 2026, let alone entry-level flagships. From the moment you pick it up, it feels solid. Not just decent or fine, proper flagship solid. You get Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on both the front and back, paired with a genuinely premium aluminum frame. You also get an IP68 rating, which is honestly more than enough for normal life. In the hand, it feels dense, reassuring and unmistakably premium. That flagship vibe is still very much intact because at the end of the day, it is still a flagship. Then there is the display. It is a 6.2-inch Full HD Plus panel, which on paper might sound modest in 2026, but in actual use, it absolutely holds up well. Text are crisp, icons look sharp, and even when you pixel peep, the level of detail is still impressive. It is also just a hair smaller than the iPhone 17, and if you place them side by side, most people would struggle to tell a meaningful difference. The 120Hz LTPO panel is still excellent by today's standards, especially when it comes to color reproduction. Whether you're watching Netflix or YouTube, content looks rich and vibrant. HDR content in particular really shines here, held by a peak brightness of 2600 nits. And here's something you don't get to see at this price point ever: an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. Ultra quick, ultra accurate and ultra safe. The stereo speakers are also pretty loud, especially for a package this compact. The cameras are solid too. We get a 50 megapixel primary sensor, a 10 megapixel 3x tele and 12 megapixel ultra wide. On paper, they may not seem that big a deal, especially compared to the more recent mid-range camera phones from Vivo and Oppo, but in real life, it can easily go toe-to-toe with them in most cases. In video, it supports 8K at 30 fps, but it is at its best at 4K 60 fps. Performance is another big reason this phone still makes sense. Globally, the Galaxy S24 launched with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in 2024. India initially got the Exynos version. The variant I'm talking about is the Snapdragon version that arrived in September 2025. And it's so much better than the Exynos. Benchmarks are strong, gaming performance is excellent, even heavier tasks feel smooth. In daily use, everything feels fast and responsive. That flagship smoothness is still very much there. It also helps that Samsung DeX is supported. With the right setup, this phone can genuinely act like a lightweight desktop replacement. On the software side, the Galaxy S24 launched with One UI 6.1 based on Android 14. It has since been updated to Android 16. More importantly though, Samsung promised 7 years of updates. So you still have at least 5 years of Android updates and security patches left. You also get most of Samsung's Galaxy AI features along with Google's Gemini tools. Things like Circle to Search, Generative Edit and Note Assist are all here. Battery life is better than the specs suggest. Yes, it is a 4000 mAh battery on paper, but when the phone was new, I consistently got around 7 hours of screen on time. And even now you still get somewhat similar results. The only real downside is charging speed. You get 25 watt wired charging, which feels slow in 2026, but you also get 15 watt wireless charging, which is a nice bonus at this price. So, does the Galaxy S24 Snapdragon variant still hold up in 2026? Well, absolutely. At 50,000 rupees, it is a solid deal. And at 45,000 or under, it becomes very hard to ignore. And if you manage to get it near 40,000 rupees, it honestly feels almost illegal. So if you want a real flagship experience without paying flagship money, this is one of the smartest buys you can make right now.